And just like that, we're back in rugby season. The Rugby Championship kicks off in around 24 hours when recording this video. So, super excited. And fortunately, we've got 6 rounds of fantasy to go. Each team plays each other twice, so it's going to be interesting. Good thing to note before we start, I have picked players who I think will, one, obviously do well in terms of fantasy, but also I have gone with just majority of strongest teams, because you do get points for obviously winning games, but also scrums and lineouts being dominant. That also gets you some good points as well. So just have in mind as well is you're only allowed to make 6 transfers every game week. So first round, obviously it's unlimited, but moving forward, you're capped at 6 transfers per round. So be strategic. Obviously we've got the same game weeks next week in regards to teams who play who, but thereafter, obviously the fixtures might get harder, might get easier, so you might want to have a little bit of variety from each team. As always, if you are new around here, then please subscribe to the channel. We'll be posting videos all throughout the Rugby Championship. So also just get involved. Link will be down below in the description. Join our league or join a league. Have some fun. So, just straight into the team selection. As I said, important to note when picking your team, you do only get 6 transfers per game week. For the first game week, it's going to be fine because Australia, South Africa go again, as well as New Zealand, Argentina. So I wouldn't imagine it would change too much. But to kick us off, in the front row, I've gone for Oxenche, Umbanambi, and Thomas Gajo for starters. Reason for starting these guys, Nche and Umbanambi are obviously South African, so I would imagine they're going to steamroll the Australian pack. Only risk with these two are they will most likely come off pretty early. Obviously Malcolm Marks on the bench is a super sub for them. And Shea also probably the same. They want to freshen it up, bring on their bomb squad. So hopefully I can get enough points out of them in the meantime. Gajo is also really good ball carrying threat for Argentina and will most likely stay on the majority of the game. On the bench, I've gone with Australia captain Alan Alatoa and also the new Ruiz, who is starting at hooker for Argentina. Next on the list are the second rows. Most exciting position on the pitch. I've gone with Tupovai and RG Snyman in the second row for starters. Obviously no Scott Barrett, so Vai will probably take more of a leadership role. We've obviously got Derry, who I think is coming in for his debut, but I might be mistaken there. And Vai also being young, but has had a fair few caps now, so we'll hopefully lock down that second row position. And then also Snyman, I mean, he's just an absolute unit. Been off pretty much all season, but when he's on, he is so destructive. So he was a must. And then on the bench, I have gone with Salakai Lotto. This guy I think is pretty risky for cards. Probably like Snyman as well, just too big. I say too big. Risky in tackle situations, let's call it. So he's on the bench. Pretty confident with my 2 second rows though. Onto the back row, and yes, you can see I've got vice captain Ardi Salvea. We all know what Salvea can do. I think he's also captain, if I'm not mistaken, of the All Blacks on the weekend. I've also gone with Rob Valentini and also Elric Lowe. So the 3 8s from what I would say is the 3 strongest nations. We can obviously debate if Argentina are stronger than Australia, but Valentini offers really good ball carrying ability for them as well. Elric Lowe could be maybe a differential pick because people just won't know his name as much, but number 8 for South Africa will definitely dominate. And then I've also gone with Juan Martin Gonzalez on the bench. I was debating starting him. The only reason why I've started Valentini instead is because Australia are at home. And the way South Africa like to play is more defence. So Valentini, I'm hoping, will just have the opportunity to carry more. Gonzalez is obviously brilliant in the loose, does such good work in defence, so we'll have to see how he performs. Maybe I'll switch him in next week. At halfbacks, I've picked Cobus Reinach and Damian McKenzie to start, with McKenzie being my kicker. I don't have a problem with this. Beauden Barrett is on the pitch, but duties do go to Damian McKenzie at the moment. Obviously, in my luck, it'll probably change, but I'm confident that McKenzie will also stay on pretty much the whole game, and hopefully just get a fair few points against Argentina as well. Reinach, well, we know what this guy can do. Super try scorer, well, when he was playing for Northampton, but also in the top 14, and he's coming to fruition now for South Africa as well, starting against Australia. Then I've also got Jake Gordon and Santi Carreras on the bench. Not going to switch these in to start, but really good backups. Santi Carreras, very good player. Also, will probably get quite a lot of points when he has a better fixture. So, for the centres, I've gone with Hunter Paisami and Geordie Barrett as starting, and I've also got Sinti on the bench. Sinti is probably a longer term pick, just because, well, probably when they're at home and play Australia, that's when I'm more likely to use him. When Barrett and Dialende, etc., are coming up against each other, maybe want to pick Sinti for that home fixture. But Barrett is my backup kicker. I imagine Beauden Barrett will be backup kicker, but I had to pick someone. We know what he can do, really quality player. Hunter Paisami, it was a switch between him and, like, a Dialende, for example, a South African centre. But I've gone with Paisami because I wanted to overload the forwards for South Africa. It's that simple. And with Joe Schmidt now at Australia, they could play some sort of different game, but Paisami, really good in defence and also carries the ball, so is good for fantasy. And then finally, in my opinion, the best positions for this year's fantasy, but we'll have to wait and see, is the back three. So I've definitely gone all out. I've gone with Mateo Carreras on as a substitute. Again, you could probably just start Carreras if your budget is low, but in this I don't think the budget will be a problem for many people. He's just a rocket, so he has the ability to change the game at any point, so also a brilliant option. But I have gone pretty strong. So I've gone Colby, which, again, with South Africa's defensive game, is maybe risky. Crazy I'm saying that with Cheslin Colby, but he does have those special moments in games like Carreras, so that's why he's in. And then I've also gone with Sevu Reece and Mark Telea as my captain. Just a really good fixture. New Zealand are on fire at the moment and against Argentina at home. You can't ignore that. So that's my starting 15. As I said, it is quite heavily loaded with New Zealand and South Africa players, but that is just because I think that they're going to win. It's as simple as that. And when teams win, they just generally do find themselves in better positions and better positions to earn more points. Only one Argentinian player in Thomas Gajo in the starting 15, and also just 2 Australians. So let's see how that works out. Let me know down in the comments who you're looking to pick and whether you're going for more of a range. Obviously, look at my bench, it's just Argentinian and Australians, but let me know if you're going to add more variety into the starting 15. But as always, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.